Welcome to Chef Journeys. I am so excited for today, and I know. Simon's always excited, but that's okay. I kind of dig it that way. But here's the deal. I got an opportunity to talk to a guy out of South Africa, and I thought, well, let's go international. Why not? Chef Journeys deserves that, right? So we're going to talk to Jared McCarroll today. What a cool cat this guy is. Um, just love talking to him, love his energy. I think he might like wood fire just as much as I do, maybe more. So that's exciting. I really think you're going to dig what we got coming. So we're going to get on it. Oh, before I forget though, just looking at my magic computer here, and we've got. Oh man, we're up to 377 downloads. We're screaming towards 400. So I hope you guys continue to enjoy this. I appreciate every single one of you who've taken the time to listen to it. And I look forward to bringing you more. So here we go. With me today is Jarad McCarroll of the Ocean Club restaurant out on St. Bart's. Um, that sounds really, really fun. So welcome, Jared. I'm stoked to have you here. Um, and stoked to hear your story.
Thanks, Simon. Happy to be here with you, and I'm excited to share this time with you and to get to know you a little bit more.
Awesome. Um, so with Chef Journeys, I try to take down the level of pretense, and so we like to get going right off the bat. So why don't you tell us how you got into this industry?
Well, it's an interesting story, and I guarantee that maybe you've heard something like it, but not this one exactly. So, look, as all of us in life go through some challenges, I lost my brother when I was a little bit younger. He was 16, and my mom it opened my mom spiritually, and she actually went to a tarot card reader, and she asked to speak about trying to connect with my brother and my sister and myself. And I was working at that time in marketing and management in my dad's sort of role, and I was kind of pushed into that, even though I wanted to be a chef from a younger age. And she called me one day and she's like, "You won't believe the conversation I had." So I mean, what I'm thinking and what she's about to tell me is like years apart. So she says, "Jared, you won't believe." She says, "I went to this tarot card reader." So I was like, "Okay, interesting." She says, and I said, "I want to speak about just you and my children." And when it got to me, she said, "Is your son good with his hands?" My mom was like, "I don't really understand what you mean. Is he good with his hands?" So she said, "Well, if he's good with his hands, he needs to study to be a chef, and
Oh, wow.
he can't study in South Africa. He needs to study abroad, and
Okay.
Switzerland looks like great." So and then she said, "Look, people will love him not just for his food, but for who he is." I mean, this girl has never met me from a bar soap. She literally changed my whole life. You know, literally, this is what my mom told me. Within, like, I got on the computer, I looked at culinary institutes in Switzerland. I found one, and literally that's how my journey began. 3 months later, I'd left my girlfriend, I left my car, I'd sold my house, and I was on a plane chasing a dream. Like
Wow.
that is how the journey began, and that's the beginning of the story of why I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, pretty far out.
Um, so culinary school in Switzerland. Tell us a little bit of what came next. Like what tell us about that first restaurant because those are always the fun ones for me, right? Like what did you experience? What was there? But then I think it's really key like what made you say I mean you can have the spirit to go, right? I want to go do it, but what kept you in? What drew you along for a few years to make you like say, okay, I'm here in this industry.
Well, I mean, I'd committed. Like I'd sold my house, my car, and I was in Switzerland. Like, I'm originally South African. So like I'd traveled halfway across the world. I was in this incredible place. And it was kind of a crash course in cooking. And then I did a small internship, and I was like, I developed a hunger after 6 months of cooking. Well, I won a gold medal at an international cooking competition called ZAG, and kind of got a bug going. And then I was hungry for achievement. So I left Switzerland. I went to London, worked at the Ritz for about 3 years, which was a beast and a lot
Not
of hard.
bad.
Yeah, it
Not
was
bad.
old school, listen to like, back in the day kind of things, like things being thrown at you and things like this. But, it was extremely beautiful, with regards to the lessons I was learning and the amounts of knowledge that I sort of gained and the foundation that I had. And that was pretty much, I'd committed so much time and I committed a lot of money to this, and I was like, I need to see this through. I had a lot of unfinished circles in my life, and I felt like I discovered my passion. And it's for food and hospitality. It's like I love cooking, I love people, I love hospitality, I love welcoming people. Like if I'm not cooking in my restaurant, I'm cooking at home and bringing people over for a barbecue and things like this. So, it's kind of in my blood, and never look back. Once you get that little bite, you kind of just want more and more and more. And
Yeah.
here I am in St. Bart. So yeah, long sort of journey, man.
I love it. I really do. I think that uh for myself personally, like my first job came because I wanted money and mom said, go get a job, boy.
Yeah. So
Right?
I definitely didn't start it for the money, because I think when I was at the Ritz, I think I was getting paid 14,000 pounds a year as I was 22-year-old male. Like, it was like 950 pounds a month. Like my rent was 500, the travel
Yeah.
was like 75. The I think I had like 200 pounds after all of my expenses, travel, just on food and like a few little things. So I
Oh,
definitely didn't do it for the money.
no, no.
Yeah, but I
Well,
did it for like the love for the growth. And it was like I'd committed, I needed to learn. I was hungry for knowledge, and like set out upon this journey.
yeah, I love it. I really do. I think that when you start to feel that, right? Like that depth of purpose and like, okay, I gotta go, then for me it came a little later. It's like, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Um it starts to really give you momentum, right? Like, and it
Yeah.
sounds like you had plenty of motivation for the momentum to already kind of be there. So that's pretty dope. Um, okay, so we plotted the course. I think that we all have destinations in our world, and it pretty would seem fairly apparent that St. Bart's has become yours, at least for now, up to this point in the journey. Tell us how that evolves. Tell us how we get there, and then kind of turn that corner for us and introduce us to the Ocean Club.
So I mean, I spent almost 9 years in London, and like when I first arrived in London, I was not a huge fan. It was like I was getting paid nothing. Like it was dark and like cloudy. It's like when I was working, everyone else was off, and when I was off, everyone else was working. It was like that sort of balance, and I was like,
Mhm.
what am I doing? I just walk around my house singing "Lonely." I'm so lonely. Like I was like single. Luckily, I met my wife. Literally moved into my house. I was in a big like sort of communal house share, and that's how I met my wife. She was one of the housemates. Um, so look, I was in London, and then I was looking to leave. Met my wife, and then she was like, she just arrived. She was like, so we stayed in London, and then I got a promotion to sous chef, and then I got a promotion to my first head chef job, and then I need to sort of cement that title. So I had to be there for 2 years, and then you kind of you kind of go, and then we got married. This is like 8 years later, and had our first child. And I was like, okay, now we need to leave, because like I can't. I love London, but I'm not going to raise my child yet. Like I need more. Like I can't be the best version of myself here. So I started to look. I started to apply for a visa to Australia, and like look for all of these ways to get out of where I was. And the recruitment agent, I told her she had helped me for a few numerous roles, and like she she was like, she sent me an email saying, would you like a job in St. Bart's? It's like, would you work in the Caribbean? Like, well, never heard of St. Bart's. So I went to my wife, I was like, would you go to the Caribbean and like work there? She's like, no ways. I was like, what about St. Bart's? She's like, how? So I was like, I don't, I don't know what St. Bart's was.
Right.
She worked on a cruise ship, and like she knew a few people anyway. So I did some research on the hotel, which was Hotel of 20. And I sort of researched the island, and it was like this beautiful, super exclusive, high-end, good brands, top of the line, sort of
Right.
small rock in the middle of the ocean. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. So I applied for the job. They came to see me in London, got the job, and then that was my beginning. So, like literally, so now we've got the job. I've shipped everything to St. Bart's 2 months prior. Um, we have we shipped our dog the day before, and we take off on a plane, and we are flying through the Netherlands, arriving in Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to St. Martin. And we arrive in Amsterdam, and as we arrive, literally the island gets destroyed by Hurricane Irma. So like I have radio silence for like 19 days. Luckily, my wife's aunt and uncle had moved to Heemstede, which is just outside of Amsterdam, um, a couple months prior. Like they were still in like an empty sort of shell. They had a bed for us. Kind of like didn't know what to do. Started applying for jobs, but like
Yeah.
I shipped all my stuff, man. Like my dog was in transit. It was like got my dog out of transit, and then we met the beautiful people who lent us a house in sort of in here in Gstaad. So we went to stay there for a week or two, and then 40 days later, like a month and a half later,
Wow.
we finally leave Heemstede. And like when we arrived, we had no cold clothes. We only had like summer stuff. And it's like I remember one of the signs like in the airport saying like 75 or 85% of the places you go from here will be warmer and sunny. I was like, oh my God, it's like crazy. Um, so it was like this insane journey. And then I get to the island of St. Bart's. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm here. I'm the executive chef of this 5-star Real Chateau hotel. It's like ready to put my name on the map, like hungry and like there's no hotel, like there's no work, so because everything was destroyed. So the island
Right.
was pretty much closed for a year. So I'm like, oh my God. So I went from being an executive chef to like a commie gardener. So I'm like picking up pot plants and moving them and helping them. And I was just like, oh, I got a little bit depressed. I was like, okay, Ella, my wife was like, I need to find a solution. So I was lucky enough to go to Copenhagen, and I went to study under like some of the like top 100 chefs in the world. Like I went to Restaurant Relais, Amas, and Geranium. And Geranium was like number one 2 years
Right.
ago, last year. Um, and kind of got to do that. Then we opened the next year, 2018, 2019. We had one full season, unbelievable, like smashed everything out of the park, like hit the budget for 2023, like literally, like we killed it.
Nice.
I rebranded and renamed the restaurant. It was called Jarad 20. Like I redesigned it, open kitchen, wood fire grill, all sort of my sort of style.
Talking dirty right now, buddy.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Anytime you say
And
wood
then
fire, I'm in.
yeah, man, this is how I cook, on wood fire grills. Like I love, you just told me a story earlier about like your friend that had this wood fire. It's like, bro, this is my passion. It's like cooking on fire and charcoal and just like it's so sexy. So I redesigned this restaurant. I won an accolade. So I won best chef of St. Bart's, and it was by Gourmet, and we had the highest point score in the Caribbean. So I won some accolades. Like launched the Jarad at the 20 restaurant's named after me. In the new season, like literally 6 months later, COVID happens, bro. So like COVID happens, kind of everything gets shelved. Like me and the 20 part ways, and I'm like become a private chef, trying to look for the next thing, and then in comes Ocean Club. So
Yeah.
yeah, now we find this location unbelievable, just absolutely incredibly beautiful. like been sitting empty for 5 years. No one had sort of,
Wow.
yeah, no one had sort of had the balls to kind of take on the lease. And yeah, we sort of just had the opportunity, took it, and opened for me one of the best restaurants in the Caribbean. It's got an unbelievable location. My goal is the restaurant sort of founders to try and find a, um, a marriage between the location, the food, the service, and the drinks to really elevate it and to create something that's unique and beautiful.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Are you able to employ live fire in the Ocean Club?
Of course, I designed the kitchen. Like, yeah, bro,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
big barbecue at the back. I mean, like, one of my signature dishes is like a picanha. I don't know if you know the piece of
Yep.
beef picanha. The top of the rump of the cattle, and it's I cook it for like 5 6 hours, like skin side down, really slow. On like I'm kind of like sous videing it in smoke, and it's like like just a high above, so the temperature is sort of really low. Then towards once it's got enough smoke, bring it down, bring it back up, bring it down, bring it back up, and like getting that char, but just bringing the temperature up gradually. So like
Right.
not American style, like not with like the like a Traeger or anything like that, or a barbecue style, but like a grill sort of style. And man, you cut into this, and like all the sort of the marbling and the monosaturated fat is melted and been absorbed by the meat, and it's just like butter. Oh, it's super special.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You're
I
just
love.
you're making me hungry, buddy. That's great. I mean, there's clearly passion just like passing through the airwaves right now, but I absolutely love that. So, I think that within restaurants, within hospitality spaces, I mean, I think on some level you can go almost anywhere you want and eat. You can go and just kind of be, but like for you, what are the elements? I guess what are the elements that make the Ocean Club just that special, different thing? But also like I guess I would tie into that like how you make all those amazing things happen. Like you're on an island, dude. Like
Yeah,
how does that work?
yeah. I mean, first of all, to answer your first question, is like, you know, I have a deep love for hospitality. I have a deep love for cooking, and even a deeper love for people. It's like, I've experienced some loss in my life. I know what like life is so short, and it's like I just want people to have a great time. So if you're coming to the Ocean Club, we just want our goal is to not force anything down your throat, but to like find a way for you to get comfortable, and then find a way to elevate that. It's like, how do we elevate your experience? It's your experience with us. If I can, it's never black and white. If I can elevate it, I train my team, find ways, find the goal, search for the goal. Like, how do we make that person's experience that little that much better?
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, and then we have some like extremely unique food. It's like I don't think that anyone is really cooking anything like what we're cooking in St. Bart's or in the Caribbean. We have like dishes like our island where it's like, we take some caramelized like onion, and like we cook it for like a couple hours, like until it's like all the sugars have been released and there's no bite. It's just like the smooth sort of caramelized flavor. It's in the shape of St. Bart's. And then on top, we have these like pickled onions. Then there's like bacon jam. Then we have like crispy shallots on top of that. And then it's like some chival. And then we pour like an onion consomme at the table, which is like a very powerful vegetable stock. And then we take roasted onions and we infuse it for like 12 to 14 hours. So it's like, there's a lot of love and a lot of intention in everything that we do. There's the tree of life and this dish and that dish. And also we have like a simply grilled section. Whereas like if you want to come and you just want to have a piece of fish with some side salad, you got that as well. So it's
Right.
like the experience is there. We want to elevate it. We want you to have your experience your way. Um, and like that for me is what hospitality is about. It's like
Ah,
not forcing someone to have an expensive bottle of wine, or not forcing someone to have this or that, or like people like, well, what do you want? Well, man, that's impossible. It's like, well, do you recommend something for us? Yes, everything is great. Depends on what do you like fish, you like meat. This is your experience, and I want to make it as beautiful as it can be. And you know in St. Bart's, you surrounded by like pioneers of industries, like this is a very exclusive island,
Right.
super expensive. Pay a lot of money to be here. You pay a lot of money to come to the Ocean Club, and that's normal. It's what the island is about, and we pay a lot of money for our staff. We pay a lot to the house. It's just an expensive kind of place to be.
Right.
So when you're with us, I don't want to lose track of that quality and that value for money. It's like we want you to leave not with like, oh my God, you robbed us. Like I want you to leave with them, beating expectations and like kind of making sure that your experience and your time with us, because it's so valuable, is the way that you want it to be or better. It's like, allow yourself to be comfortable, to get relaxed, to have a great service in an unbelievable setting. I mean, the sunset at the Ocean Club is just like, it's terrible, I'm telling you.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Sounds
Like
tragic and
sometimes
awful.
I'm like, damn, man, I gotta come to work again. you know, I gotta be here again. No, we're blessed. We have an insanely beautiful location. And our goal and our intention is to offer a quality of service and a quality of food and drink that is up there with the location that we're blessed with. So that's the
I
goal.
love it. I want to go back to one little thing because I really think that you hit on something that's super near and dear to my heart, and that, like, I'm not sure how it is kind of on your side of the world, but here in the States, like we as chefs, a lot of times when we start to get up into the higher ends of fine dining, the luxury set, it becomes so much about what the chef wants, right? It's, oh, this is your 10-course tasting meal and there's no options, there's no substitutions, or there's the door. And I I just love the fact that, like, it's sort of the idea that you've curated the best things that you can, right, to offer, and then allowing the guest to choose. And I think that that's pretty special. I think that that's kind of refreshing, honestly, in this day and age
Yeah.
for the things I see. Because a lot of times I see people just kind of being handed, this is my genius. Please take it and pay me a lot of money. So
Yeah. Well,
it's pretty cool to hear that you've kind of taken a different approach to it. And I genuinely appreciate that.
appreciate that, Simon. And look, for me, I'm, I do a lot of inner work, and for me, it's about releasing the ego. It's not my experience. Like, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
even my restaurant. Like, maybe I'm the founder of the restaurant, but it's like, it doesn't work without the people in it, and it doesn't work without
Mhm.
my staff, and it doesn't work without our team. And, so like, if you're choosing, this island is 8 miles long. Like there's like 35 restaurants on it. It's like if you're choosing to come to the Ocean Club, like who am I to tell you the way that you should have your steak cooked?
Right.
Like I don't know what you like. It's like, you know what I mean? If I'm shoving it's like we feel the necessity need. Like I don't get people who are triggered by cooking a steak well done. Oh, like you get offended by, oh, I can't cook a steak well done. That's why? Like you don't have to eat it. You just need to cook it, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
do you think you can take the potatoes off and add a salad? Like, no, like this is the way, like, dude, like it's not black and white. Hospitality is not like this. It's like, look at, like, try, imagine yourself as a guest. This is their experience. This is your experience. If you're coming to the Ocean Club and like you're gonna sit down at one of our tables, that's your experience, man. How do I make your experience with us better?
Yeah.
Like that's my goal. Like not how do I elevate your experience? How do I force feed something down your throat and give you the most expensive this and that and like make you like feel pissed off? Like I always also heard this the saying is like the profit is in the return guest. It's like the profit is in that person returning.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? That's like, how do I get you to come back? How do I build a loyalty with you? Because hospitality is about loyalty. How do I build a loyalty with you that's going to make you come back here and
Yeah.
experience this again?
Yeah.
And then hopefully elevate that experience again. Like, you know what I mean? And we don't always get it right, but the intention is there. And it's like it's what I train my team on. It's like put the intention when you come to work. Don't just come and like, oh, how can I have your order? And then you want tips, no? So if you want tips, you got to be with the guests. You need to be open and present.
Yeah.
Like offer them the
Be in the
experience.
space for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to interact. Don't be with your boyfriend 2 hours later or having a beer with your mate at the select an hour from now. Like be in that moment. And because as humans, we literally live. We're always rushing to the next thing. It's like we be here, but we're waiting to the next thing, and then we get there and we're waiting to get home to have this, and then you know what I mean. We just stop, calm, and just be there, enjoy it. You know, because that's where the magic is, man. That's where life
Yeah.
happens. Life is.
Well, I mean, you mentioned loyalty, but I mean, I also look at like I also genuinely believe within hospitality, and hospitality for me is not just food, drink, and lodging, right? It's like hospitality is how we treat each other. But I also look at like reputation, like how does somebody walk away and go, I had this experience that was amazing. You have to go, because that's really where businesses take off, right? Like, and I can feel that when you're in an exclusive space, you don't have a choice if you want to succeed. You have to be the one that makes things like really go. So I love that. I do. I think it's rare. I mean, I'm sure that there's a ton of it out there, but so much of the day-to-day life, so much of things, I don't know how it is for you, but for us, like, man, the phones have taken over, right? Like people have stopped interacting and they're down in this thing. And so I think it's like I say, it's refreshing to hear somebody who's actually trying to value the human interaction.
No, it's what it's about. It's like, what are we doing in hospitality if we're not? It's like, I'm not gonna mention, but one of the hotels I went to is like, I went there, it's like, okay, this beds are only for like our hotel guests, but they were all full, empty, and it's like, oh, this bar is only like I just ended up leaving. It's like it's not black and white. It's like there's so many. You put yourself and you put your business in so many boxes, and like we can only have it this way. It's like allow room, at least allow your mind to be open to change.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or allow your mind to accept that something could possibly different, and that someone's experience might be a little bit better if we just, allowed them to have their experience. It's like, and I think a lot of the human race is unconscious and a little bit lost, and like, everyone's on their phones. I literally was at the gym earlier today, and like this girl was trying to take so many selfies of herself. She walked into a bubble, like into like walked into the thing. It hit her in the eye, and I was just
Oh,
like,
that's awful.
my gosh, bro! Like, just like enjoy the session. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come to the gym. Like, whatever you're doing, whether it's in hospitality, work, whatever, in our daily lives, just be there and enjoy it. It's like we're always trying to capture something, or I don't know, like be somewhere where everyone's in a rush, and it's like slow down. Like, like the present moment is where life happens, and it's the only place that life is ever going to happen. It's like
Yeah.
it's only happen right now. So it's like just enjoy it. It's like, and that's the biggest thing I try and teach my staff is be present. Be there with the guests. You want the better tips, and you want to give the best service. You can't be thinking about something else when you're there. You need to be thinking about how that guest is feeling, how how I can elevate that experience, and then just allow yourself to be open to it. Don't shut yourself off.
Yeah. I love it. All right. I got a little bit of a different question for you. Everybody, all of our chef journeys, as many chefs as I've talked to, we're all going along the path differently. But I think that it's required that we all kind of try to pass it back. So, whether it's your cooks that are working with you and for you, or it's the folks that are listening to this podcast, what advice have you got for folks who are perhaps farther earlier on in their journey than you are? You know,
This is a great one, and I love this question really. And I gave a lot of leadership trainings with my team, floor, kitchens, everything. And in order for us to be successful, we need to have a definition of what success is. You know, and like a great definition of success for me is success is the progressive realization of a dream. So
yeah,
success is the progressive realization of a dream. So in order for us to be successful, we need to have a dream. So you need to know what you want. Like this is the biggest thing I tell everyone. It's like you need to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, How do you hit a target that you cannot see?
Right.
You don't just get in your car and just like drive around aimlessly, or like get in a boat and just like bob around. Like you have a destination. You're going to the bank, or you're going to work, or you're going there, and you get in your car and you drive to it. Like know where you're going. Because if you know where you're going, if this is where you want, I want to have my own restaurant. I want it to be 65 seats. I want it to be in this location. You know what I mean? I want to be a world-class chef. I want to grow great hospitality, whatever it is. If you know that, then if you have a bad day, it kind of balances out, and your highs and lows are not so high and low, because you know that it's going to be, it's part of the process.
Right.
So like a success is the progressive realization of a dream. It's progressively taking steps towards achieving that. So it's like, this is our dream. Are we taking steps every day to get there? And it's like, have the intention, wake up in the morning with an intention to do something good. Like,
Yeah.
be the best version of yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Your life is beautiful. You never know when it's going to happen or what's going to happen to you. So enjoy the process. Like, you know, life is the reward is the journey,
Yeah.
and I had like,
Absolutely.
I had some problems with the business last year, and it was like I went really, really low, and I hit a really sort of dark place, and like I had to kind of switch. And it's like, bro, everyone, especially if you want to achieve something beautiful, you're gonna have lows, you
Yep.
know, but stop focusing on what we don't want. Stop living in anxiety and fear. Anxiety and fear is literally negative dream building. Stop focusing on that and start focusing on what you want. But in order to know what you want, you need to have a goal, you need to have a destination. So focus on that. And then with that energy, you can wake up and feel inspired because you know where you're going, you have a direction.
Yeah.
So it's like the big thing, have a goal, man. Write it down. Write it down. Like, feel good about it. Feel good about life. Feel good about every day, because
Yeah. I
like,
think that's
oh,
pretty
like,
valuable advice.
yeah,
Absolutely.
do that.
Uh, so much of I think that, job hunting and so much of this industry, but many industries, it's all about what's available to me. Well, I think it's also, I think what you said is pretty apt there. It's like, what do I want to do, and what are the steps I need to do or what are the steps I need to take to get there is
Yeah, and
pretty
sometimes the steps are not
pretty
fun, huh? Like, you know what I mean? You're not gonna go from, okay, my dream is to be this, but and then I'm a commie, and then I'm gonna get there in a couple of years. The journey is like it's part of it. Like, enjoy the process. Like, you know,
oh,
love the grind. Like,
yeah,
if you're a dishwasher, you want to have a restaurant one day, enjoy the grind. Come to work with a passion and an enthusiasm for your work, because someone will pick that up and go, okay, look at that guy. He's doing great. And he's like, don't come to it. Oh, we have this victim mentality. Like, people are victims of their life and their
yeah,
circumstance. Oh, but this happened to me. My mom was this, or my dad was that. No one's denying that happened. And no one's denying that that was your past, but you can let go of it and you can start to focus on something different, like shift the energy. You know what I
right,
mean? So it's like, focus on what we want, wake up with an intention, like, have a purpose, like, feel good about it and enjoy the journey. Like, life is the journey. Like, the success is not the destination, because, if I've had many conversations about this, and it's like, people are always putting, if I just get this, I'll feel
yeah,
good or happy. And it's like, if I just get to that point, why I get this car, I get that, then you get the car, and then a month later, you're like, you end up being a little bit more back in the same place, because we're putting our emotional states on something external. And it's like, by just looking a little bit inside and feeling like, dude, you're allowed to be happy right now. Like, and
yeah,
like, sometimes I think we forget that. It's like, you can be happy.
totally.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah,
enjoy it.
I totally do. I mean, after 30 years in the business, I pulled
Yeah.
myself out and I work as a consultant and as an advisor now. And there are days where it's not all roses, but the end of the day, like I work mostly from home and I get to be around my wife and around my dogs and I get to be, kind of in my space. And so what isn't always perfect definitely does have its upsides. So yeah, no, I feel you. 100%. Well, man, what a great conversation. I just love the passion and intensity that you've brought to your journey. I hope that other people are able to grab and through sound of the podcast, um, able to really feel what I felt today, which was somebody who's kind of felt their world or felt their journey going and just got on and gave it a ride. Um,
Oh,
I hope
I
someday
mean,
to see the Ocean Club because man, well, it sounds amazing.
yeah, thanks, man. And we opening another one in Montauk now as well.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
so be in the end of New York this summer, so that's exciting as well. And there I've got a big kick-ass open grill, man. Like it's like I built the open kitchen, but the kitchen is like a stage. It's like in the middle of the restaurant, and at the front of it, I've got this like grill where you got a chef on either side cooking.
There you
You know,
go.
you got chef table, you got a chef on either side. So one guy's going to be doing like the fish, the other guy's going to be doing the meat, like both sort of in the heat of service. Like, it's like something I learned from Andre Balaz. I worked at the Chiltern Firehouse in London, and he built like this epic restaurant, and the barbecue was kind of the focal point. So it's something I've taken from that. So it's like, and I think people nowadays they want to experience more than just like the food arriving. They want to show, they want to feel that, they want to see where their food is coming from. And it's not just a meal that people are looking for. You're looking for an experience. So, that's kind of where I would like to take it, bring an experience rather than just a meal.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. It's incredible what authenticity will do for things, you know. Just when you feel the smoke in the room, when you have the more of the senses brought in, it starts to really go up. Well, gosh, Jared, thank you so much for joining us today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck. And I hope that we're able to keep in touch. I would love to do a follow-up someday and go, all right, this is the next leg of the journey because that's what it's really all about for me and I think for this podcast. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.